can make a showing here in Hanamura.
Cena Hanamura, cherry blossoms and a bye week here that is desperate for things to go well. We're going to have Dell with the Sonic Arrow early on, making sure there's no train wreck-esque strategies before he goes to Lucio. And bye week, they're just going to try and dive their way to victory here.
Dive versus dive. We'll see if they can get onto Fire and Crimzo. Not the most mobile support heroes here. Dell finding it a little bit difficult to make it through that window, though. So now they're just going to go straight up the gut now. They're still taking their time getting poked down. Well,
yeah, getting poked down is exactly right. Look at how much damage Waifu took before bye week even considered moving forward. You can't give up that much free damage as you move in. Now you've left Pizza Demon in just denial in the back, unable to do anything. He's taken down, and EnVision, by 6 bye week, they forced Waifu to be a non-factor with good poke early in the fight, and the cleanup is still coming.
This is not good. They've already lost about 50 seconds now, and Waifu is either forced to run back to spawn. There we go. He will reset himself. They might even get Leffa. Oh boy, as he was trying to retreat, make his way on out, he gets stopped, and so now bye week are just losing even more time.
As the audience, what I want you to look at here, please look at the tank health bars as they move in, and notice what's happening between the two teams, where generally EnVision is keeping their team well topped off. You're going to see Waifu and Xirshui, the way this is going, they poke out a little bit too early. This time they actually go in as a team, but they don't watch their back. They're not protecting Pizza Demon super well. He's almost killed in the initial prelude here, and now EnVision, they back out. And why are they backing out? Jaru has the Dragon Blade, so they're all together. Jaru is licking his chops right now, because what's going to happen is they're going to wait for Crimson. You might as well wait for the Transcendence. He's going to transcend in with this Blade. Blade comes out first, and they might not even need to, but no, they want to be sure, they want to be clean. They take down 3.
Yeah, of course, EnVision just showing us why dive can be very difficult to play, because, well, your supports are left out generally in that dive. Pizza Demon still struggling now. After 2 minutes, he will have his Transcendence, but still he is getting focused down by EnVision every single time. We saw it during bye week's initial push on Hollywood, and now it's coming to fruition once again for EnVision. We'll see. Crimzo starts it off once again. Dell goes down. Crimzo is another threat that you have to worry about from bye week.
And that just adds another obstacle to the course here, where bye week can't really do anything. They have to wait for Dell to move back in. And by the way, Buds is waiting in the back. He has the pulse bomb up. He just wants to make Dell's life terrible. Dell's coming back in. Buds diving on in. And that's good D.Va play there. Forces him out, but Aether dives in while the D.Va wasn't with them. He just dives in and dies. Didn't have the opportunity, didn't have the support in the beginning. But Xirshui getting Crimzo, making some opportunity here, but still a very rough engage for bye week.
They used nearly everything at hand. Waifu, just hold on to the self-destruct. Fight's over. Okay, so Transcendence gone for Pizza Demon. Blade gone for Aether there. Leffa even tried to go for the Pulse Bomb. He'll get that shortly back, but I mean, they committed so much from bye week, even the Primal Rage, and now it's all reset. 56 seconds left, and they're going to have to rely upon a self-destruct and a sound barrier? That is not what you want for a possible final fight.
Here's the thing here, is that there is a window. They can use the barrier and move in, and maybe negate Jaru. Jaru's going to hold on to the Blade right now, but already, there's a nano boost. Jaru holds on. Now the Blade comes down. They've lost 2. Aether got both supports in the back, so Jaru's got to make up for lost time. Moving on in, slicing his way through, under assault, but they get Xirshui. Now, remember, EnVision, they're out of supports here. Both supports are down, but everyone else was still alive, so they're still going to hold on this fight.
Yep, Shiny survives with about 150 HP. He's going to get topped off by Fire. So they'll have the Transcendence for this next fight. Bye week, running out of gas. They were only able to hold on to that self-destruct for Waifu now. 10 seconds left, we're pushing in.
They're gonna dive in, but Crimzo's just gonna be like, yo, I got Transcend. He's gonna Transcend, keep EnVision alive. And while this is going on, like, Jaro got Pizza Team in the back. Now Crimzo piles on with the Transcendence. The rest of EnVision can go on the point, but actually, they're a little bit tentative here. They don't fall off the Transcendence as much. There's a slight window for bye week, but their tanks are getting crunched. It's Jaru and Buds laying in the damage on the point. Overtime's gonna go away, and not even a tick to bye week's name.
Yeah, EnVision just knew how far that they could push it there. They had actually sent Shiny and Jaru on the Pizza Demon hunting expedition, and of course they came out successful. And even though they knew they would take some trades, they knew once it came down to it, because, well, individually, we're seeing some out mechanics coming out from the side of EnVision. They're able to do that. They're able to take these 5v5s, even if they lose a support, if they lose a tank, they're able to take these fights no problem whatsoever. They're not scared of bye week at all.
Well, the most striking thing there is that Aether literally killed both supports in the back to open up a fight. And EnVision was so unfazed by how the rest of the fight was engaged that they were still very healthy and able to win the fight. That cannot happen, and it's a testament to how much of an advantage EnVision has when every fight is starting, again, backed up by the power of their flanking DPS and the power of their tanks here, where Bi-Week is constantly a step behind.
Step behind. They're going to go for this defensive hold once again, bringing out Shirshoi on the Orisa. They need a full hold just to draw this map. EnVision taking a look. Shiny currently hovering over that Roadhog, and you know what? I don't mind it at all. One pick, and then all of a sudden, everything turns around for your team. You're able to just take the point.
And again, we see Bi-Week deciding, okay, we're going to run McCree. The problem here, and I mean, granted, it's not like Leffa has been turning in all-star performances on his Tracer either, but his McCree has essentially been a non-factor, where he hasn't been able to get the better of Buds at all in these situations, and I guess he plays, he practices here, but on a mechanical level, this particular setup that Bi-Week has gone for multiple times now just doesn't seem to phase EnVision.
Yeah, it was not successful at all during Ilios, and then it fell apart along on Hollywood also. So now they're going to go for it here on Hanamura, but again, Leffa's going to have to be careful on his positioning. It was him who was out of position when EnVision went for that point A take on Hollywood. Now, he does have the high ground. He's going to have that extra control, and of course the walls to his back, so he's not going to be getting flanked, but Jaru is on that Genji, and so instead they're just going to avoid that defensive hold completely and just wrap around the right-hand side.
Well, you touched on the right point. That's the exact move they need to do there, where they realize, okay, let's not contest that immediately. Let's grab a really nice high ground position from the right side, so they react really well to this recent defensive setup. And now EnVision using verticality to their advantage, moving up. McGravy, a little bit too far, DP's down, but Dell goes down in turn. No resurrections are going to be up and available here, and now EnVision is trading out really well in this situation. Bi-Week down to their final few players, and they're going to be down in the war of attrition as Buds continues to rip apart the backline. Once more, not challenged by Leffa at all.
Yeah, the supports were gone. The tanks had no health behind them. That allowed Shiny with the rest of his team to just come in and clean up Bi-Week, and now that is going to be EnVision securing their second victory of Contenders.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, I mean, EnVision, again, they're coming off of getting reverse swept. They now take the series very easily, 3-0. And this is what we expected coming in, but I didn't quite expect this level, where I think EnVision is playing very well, very cleanly. They've gone away from some of their crutches where they're not running Sombra as much. Jaru is back onto Genji, which is a great thing to see. But Bi-Week, by comparison, they just can't check them at any phase of the game.
Yeah, it seems just all throughout, EnVision was having better positioning, better grouping. Something that I noticed was Bi-Week tending to group much tighter regardless of what EnVision was running. And we saw it happen with that pulse bomb in the last map, and then it's like they were kind of, it seemed to me like they were tempting fate, just doing it again. They were all huddled together in a very small room.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage coming across, and that's surprising because they are running the Orisa Diva. And when you run the Orisa Diva, it's very difficult as the opposing team to try and get that damage off. So it might, harken back to the Diva play really kind of lacking here on the side of Bi-Week, making sure that they're not able to get as much damage off. It's so many things right now from Bi-Week that they really do need to shore up to be able to stay competitive within this season.
Well, more than anything else, it always feels like Bi-Week has ADD when they're going in on these engagements, because what's happening is that they will look to the front and they'll go, okay, let's go in. But what's going to happen is you're going to have like 2 people in the back getting distracted by a Tracer, so not everyone's invested.
And then all of a sudden, Aether dives in, and
Aether gets blown up, Waifu gets demeched early, and it just comes down to the part where they don't have faith in their ability to contain flankers on the back, so they're super scared anytime Buds comes in from the back line. Then when they finally dive in, it's just like, we got maybe half our team involved. It's not a recipe for success.
Well, let's check out. This is a replay. This is, you guys had said it, you wanted to see Jaru on Genji, and here you have it.
I mean, it was just so easy for him. The Winston's generally not there to try and check him. That's what you really want to do, use the Winston, especially with that Tesla cannon, to try and deal with Jaru. But Jaru was almost under no pressure whatsoever this entire time. And of course, a Nano Blade makes it that much easier.
Well, that blade also was very important for Jaru, because that was the one fight that could have went Bi-Week's way. That was where Aether cut down both supports. And if Jaru did not make that blade as impactful as it was, that probably would have been Bi-Week's point, and we would still be in Hanamura right now. But overall, Bi-Week, again, just comes down to initiations. Not there right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've got our next map up. They are going to take us to Junkertown, and it's very common, kind of going back to Ilios, it's very common to see Widowmakers on this map. Now, you guys had mentioned that there was a very different playstyle between Leffa's Widowmaker and Bud's Widowmaker, whereas Bud's was much more damage, like focusing his damage on individual targets, and Leffa was just kind of trying to pick off, you know, and get damage where they could. Where do you see that going with this particular map?
For this particular map, I mean, we've seen Bud's already play a very super aggressive Widowmaker style, even on the defense here. This is where Leffa's not going to have any space at all to work, even if he tries to go for the Widowmaker themselves. We'll see if they try to do Leffa, Widowmaker, and Aether on the Hanzo, because they have run the double sniper solo support composition before, but still, this is a map where I think just individual skill is going to lend itself really well over to the EnVision squad.
Also, just in general, across the entire team for both of them, Reinforce has a famous quote about, you know, players in Overwatch and whether or not they're cowards. Well, let me just say right now, for EnVision, they are not cowards. In fact, I don't think they have any fear whatsoever.
All right, well, let's see if they can maintain that fearlessness. Let's join it. This is map 4. Probably it is, in fact, the final map for this series. Poor bye week, EnVision and bye week. Take it away, guys.
Well, no matter what, EnVision, they have avenged themselves. They are going to come away with the series win here.
Yeah.
Now this is sort of bye week. Can they find some silver lining to grasp onto, or is the storm cloud just dark all the way through?
Well, securing a 4-0 for EnVision is very important here because, well, with that 2-3 loss, you know, that does affect their map differential quite a bit from last week, and especially with Fusion University. I mean, they took 2-3-2 victories so far, so their map differential isn't the greatest. I mean, anything could happen in these final weeks of the regular season. Now, bye week, they are going to go for that solo support composition. Pizza Demon is on the Bastion, full pirate ships ahead.
The best opportunity for bye week here is that they win the first fight and just get momentum. You got to keep EnVision back. As soon as this pirate ship gets derailed, and there you go, they got Buds early on. That's a good start, but Buds is going to be res back up, so you got to do it again. Still, not a bad opening for Leffa, but if they get derailed even once, I think they're going to find it very difficult to get rolling again.
Pizza Demon is on the cart. He drops slow as that shield was dropped, never able to get back up. Crimzo found a great angle there. Now Leffa has to back away here. He does have the recon visor up. Excuse me, he's got the sonic arrow up out from Aether. Still, they are not pushing the payload right now.
They're not pushing him right now, but EnVision is keeping them gummed up, and this is where you can't give Jaro time to work. He's getting the hack on the Mercy. She can't shift away, but doesn't quite have the damage to finish it out. Here's the problem, though, is that Jaro's going to be very close to getting EMP here. He's very good at applying pressure in the back, which gives Buds more room to work from the front, and bye week, they've sort of been thrown off to a degree. Now, iShiny's down. This is something they have to take advantage of. You can't lose Shearshoy, and they do.
They lose Shearshoy. Leffa does equalize it out. EMP comes out from Jaru, but still they do not have the numbers there. Might actually get this Roadhog.
EnVision able to reconstitute themselves after a rough start there. Even with the res coming through in bye week, it's not enough. EnVision firing on all cylinders right now. They're still well, but Buds gets picked off. Pizza Demon putting in some work here. This is what bye week needed, but oh, Bastion just scattered to bits as EnVision is still making it difficult for bye week to get this pirate ship going.
Yeah, the Valkyrie along with the supercharger used, and so now EnVision are somehow stabilizing Jaru once again. Too far up, will fall now. Bastion finally coming in. It's gonna be Pizza Demon with a configuration tank, but he is zoned out by that self-destruct. Ultimately will get the kill onto McGravy. Now they're just a few short meters away from securing this. We'll see if EnVision, I don't think they're in position to be able to contest.
They really shouldn't here, but I don't know why they wouldn't challenge bye week in a sense, except they're just not gonna be able to touch a payload in time. With how much disrespect EnVision is doing here, I really wouldn't have been surprised if you saw Crimson go out and they tried to take it, but that is historically not a very good position to take a fight from.
Indeed, and so now they are sticking with the Widowmaker as we move on. In bye week, 4 minutes to get the second checkpoint here. Pizza Demon checking the window, making sure that Jaru's not able to get in for free. The high ground pull off the halt will force Shiny down. Transcendence too late to save him.
Well, you have the Valkyrie coming back up there, and Fire wasn't able to get the res up. He went for it, was greedy, doesn't work out at all. Bye week now getting some sorely needed momentum here as Buds on the pickup. Gonna go a little bit further back. EnVision still has to wait for respawns to a degree here, but bye week loses a little bit of their momentum.
Yeah, EnVision did commit both of their support ultimates into that last fight, though. So now Fire is at 25% towards that Valkyrie. Crimzo, 20. Oh! Great focus fire coming out. Buds will fall for his efforts, but still, EnVision, there's so many threats on this team that Bioweek just aren't able to check them all.
Well, Bioweek also has to swap off now. If they stand the Bastion here, it's almost certainly going to be a mistake. And, oh, Dell goes for the res, and EnVision, they're just... Well, they were looking like they're going to dive in, and they decide not to. McGravy actually goes a little bit far out. I think McGravy thought the plan was dive in, which means Bioweek has to go up too, but Aether picked off in the back. Jaro's going to commit the EMP, and EnVision isn't entirely going to dive in, but even just Jaro and Buds is enough to force Bioweek to back up.
Yeah, you get rid of the Roadhog, you get rid of that frontline threat. It allows EnVision just to push forward now. Bioweek, they are starting to make the swaps. Aether now going over to the other Shimada. It's going to be Genji coming up for him, and Pizza Demon, now no longer on that Bastion, will pick up the Zenyatta for his team.
So the upside for Bioweek is that they recognize they need the swap. The downside is you have all these swaps, they have nothing in regards to power coming up soon. They are very behind in the ult economy game, which means that their only real hope here is that Luffa needs to get a pick off of here, right? Bioweek's coming in from the front, but the real power is going to be Luffa if he gets at least someone to make it reasonable, someone that will not be rezzed up immediately by fire in the back. But Bioweek, they're waiting so long for a Mercy pick or a Widow pick up here that doesn't happen, and Jaro, in fact, is going to be the one that gets Pizza Demon in the back.
And yeah, we saw right there on screen, Leffa even turning his attention to try and deal with it, but he couldn't do anything at all. Dell will get the res back onto Pizza Demon. We'll see how long he survives now. Aether has already fallen, though, to the sightlines of Buds.
And again, Bioweek just looks confused as to how they want to engage us here. Buds with all sorts of room to work with, and Jaro just gunning people down. The SMG from on top. And they can save ults here again. They're going to have Valkyrie. They have everything
doing?
up. Buds is not a coward.
Not at all.
He's not a coward.
Running out towards Bioweek's spawn area. Now he does have the recon visor up, so he knows where all the threats are approaching from right now. But Bioweek have been anything but a threat to him. So he's even going to be playing very aggressively here on this Widowmaker. He does have the backup of Shiny's barrier too.
And Bioweek coming in here, they don't really have any tools. They have Valkyrie, but it's still difficult to get good value out of his Dell, especially with Jaro looking for the EP in the back to start out the fight. And again, time's being run off the clock here. Bioweek, at some point, you have to go in. They're really split up in the gauge. They lose Shearshow immediately as Dell was way in the back, and they drop the EP. And again, Buds with plenty of room to work with because Bioweek was not on the same page.
Definitely not on the same page. Dell had even committed the Valkyrie into that fight, and he got absolutely nothing for it. Fire did answer back, but still, Valk for a Valk, that's fine for EnVision because, well, they have so many ultimates coming online right now. They've got the self-destruct along with the Transcendence. Pizza Demon hasn't been able to build one up yet because he's been focused down so hard now. Buds with another recon visor. He's got one every minute.
This is so good for EnVision right now. Down to the final fight here, 20 seconds remaining. And Bioweek, if there's going to be any hope, it's going to be on Aether with the Dragon Blade, but he's going to have to use it after Crimzo transcends, or Crimzo's going to need to be bursted down. Bioweek running out of time. They need to throw a body on the point, but Leffa goes down. Once more, Bioweek is split. And now, let's see where Aether is. Will he have a hero blade? The Transcend out from Pizza Demon, and here's the blade from Aether, diving in. And he's almost thoroughly bamboozled here in the beginning. Still gets Crimzo towards the very end and picks off two. Both supports are down. A gift to Aether, and Bioweek is still in it.
Bioweek is still in it indeed. Overtime spawns. And make sure that EnVision can actually come in and contest this. We have McGravy trying his best to stall this out, but now finally EnVision are respawning. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it. So they're just going to reset here. And once again, Bioweek able to eke on by. Now, actually, they are starting to push forward. Never mind. EnVision will just back away Bioweek now with another lifeline.
That was so interesting the way that ended up working out, where that blade was looking particularly poor for Aether, and then he got Zenyatta, who he was looking for to begin with, and then just got the other support kill. It was just like, oh, I will feed myself into you now.
Yeah, it was really close call because we did see that individual hack coming out from Jaru, and he almost got it off, but it was interrupted by that first slash of the blade. So they might have just thought it did go off, but that did. EMP comes in, Pizza Demon instantly focused down. And
he's not the only one. Vision fully committed to the dive after the EMP, rolls into Bioweek and runs them right on over. And this is where defense loves to set up here on Junkertown. You get to set up right at the beginning of third, and it can be difficult for teams to break through, especially with Buds on the ambush.
Buds, he has not been afraid of anything Bioweek has thrown at him. Look at him At the spawn now on the lurk. He's got the pulse bomb ready, and there he goes. He jumps in, but he does not connect.
I'm not sure why you'd go for the Winston with Harmony Orb unless everyone was going to dive in with you, which might have been the case. Either way, Vision's going to back up a little bit. It doesn't quite work out, but they catch Leffa, who was way out of position there, gets hacked and down. And Vision still holding perfectly fine here, and look at the tank focus. They're going for Shirashui, they're pushing him back once more. It's Jaro laying in the damage, building up the EMP at the same time, but the self-destruct makes a little room for Bye-Week. EnVision might have gone a little bit too far in, and they're getting punished here as Bye-Week, again, might have a little bit left for them as time runs down, and we are fully in overtime once more.
Luckily, EnVision, because it was not in overtime yet, they have regular spawns, and so with that underpass, they're going to be able to make it back to the point really quickly now. But the pickoff onto Buds will Bye-Week, excuse me, a few more meters on this cart now, and they've actually got a lot of ultimates for possibly this final fight.
It might not matter though. Look at Pizza Demon and Jaro. This is the key point here, and he's going to transcend long before an EMP comes out. So smart on Pizza Demon's part. Went in with Aether, but Aether wasn't able to find anything. Now the fight's breaking down. The EMP is out, but the sound barrier comes out after. Dell was able to hide. It's a very nice sound barrier, but it still might not matter. EnVision's doing way more damage even after the barrier was applied, and it's gonna be EnVision throwing Bye-Week off the payload and stopping them right before third.
So EnVision, you know, they did get a little aggressive at times and finally were punished by Bye-Week. For the most part, I do like the aggression coming out from EnVision, but it's a calculated aggression coming out from them. So it's not the worst thing in the world. At this point, I think some things that they can shore up, because we already know EnVision already have this victory, is that, you know, at times, Shiny, he does go aggressive. And as the Winston player, as the main tank player, you do expect to die, but there were some moments where he shouldn't have gone as aggressive as he did. I think that's something that they can look forward to cleaning up as we move on through the rest of the season.
Well, you kind of hit on something that's been a problem of Shiny's historically, period, is that he just dies early too often. I think he's done a reasonable job of reining that in, but it's also hard to say how much is iShiny reining it in versus how much is Bye-Week just being petrified of EnVision every time they move in. And it's hard to say where that line really is when evaluating iShiny here, but EnVision, we'll see how they set this up here. It doesn't really look like they're looking for a pirate ship-esque opening here just yet. They might play it a little bit more standard.
A little bit more standard. And this is Aether. This is where he almost got hacked, but he was able to jump into the back, and this is what opened it up for them. This blade right here, getting both of the supports, and especially this third kill with that.
The thing about that, though, is really weird is that, look, Aether was able to make the most out of a bad situation, but Crimzo should have been aware that Genji had dove in there. If he actually just repositioned off to the side, Aether would have been left holding his blade with nothing to do. And then you sort of had the weird gift coming in where Fire's just like, I will save you! I will get cut down by the blade as well. This is good, right?
Yeah. Definitely some play that EnVision can clean up here. A little bit more awareness now. EnVision, though, as we go in, we do have Jaru once again on that Sombra. Buds, of course, a hugely impactful Widowmaker so far in this series now. He's got the damage boost. He's going to push forward.
And Buds, of course, is going to be looking for early pickoffs. Bye-Week, again, giving up ground, losing the poke battle, where part of it is Roadhog play, but, I mean, both teams running similar compositions. Jaro, so much damage into the back. Meanwhile, EnVision's pushing up, but Buds gets picked off. Leffa gives Bye-Week an opening here, but they're not able to really dive in before the res comes out. And now you have a flanking Roadhog, old school Heart Blue style, and EnVision might chase that down.
We do see Jaro going after it, so he might just be an ultimate battery there. He's at 40% now, 50, 60, just racking it up. Oh, the spread on this SMG is just dirty.
Aether was so far out there, he wasn't really able to get safe. He does get chased down in the end. EnVision with an edge, and both teams down in Theresa, but I think Buds is just fine with that. Looking for Leffa now, behind the remnants of his own Theresa shield, and again, it's the front tank line of EnVision, bullying Bye-Week.
Yeah, Dell tried to go for that resurrect there, and EnVision said no, got rid of him instantly. Jaru finally punished here, but Aether's the only one he's not going to really be able to contest this. And so EnVision just rolling along with this payload now. McGravy might be caught out. No, he's able to boost her out to safety.
Now as we move into the next fight, it's going to be recon sight out from Leffa here early on. Bye-Week, they have options, but again, I would draw your attention to the Jaru Pizza Demon interaction, where Pizza Demon's going to feel very pressured to transcend early in this fight, as Jaru's going to be looking for him in the back to land an EMP, not just on Pizza Demon, but his contemporaries as well. EnVision just fighting here in the trenches. And there's the EMP. Down goes Shearshoy, but Jaru gives up his life. Taken down by Leffa. It's Buds from the other side, doing enough damage. Dell might be flying in the sky, but his team is still getting mauled on the point.
Yeah, that was just a beautiful setup coming out from Jaru. Going in with that EMP, sets up Crimzo on that Roadhog, and just able to whole hog and destroy everyone in his path now. To note, they have been running that solo support the entire time for EnVision now, and Crimzo has been doing a great job. That extra damage helps them deal with the other Orisa barrier, and so Shearshoy hasn't been able to do anything. He's swapping off now over onto the Winston.
Bi-Week making changes late into the point here where, again, they're going to have to come out with the Transcendence first just to give themselves any form of breathing room. Maybe hope the self-destruct gets something. But here we go. The Transcendence is out, so is the self-destruct. Does the self-destruct connect? No, it doesn't. It just zones people out. Shearshoy dove in aggressively off of it and still got focused out. The Transcendence is done. EnVision still holding even in this fight as Buds low, but pocketed all the while. He's able to withstand against the Tracer pressure. Meanwhile, EnVision just bullying on the point once more, and Bi-Week on the verge of losing the second.
Yeah, Bi-Week, miscoordination there. Shearshoy jumps in. He was dropped down low as that Winston and Pizza Demon tried to save him. The issue was Shearshoy was just on that high ground bridge, while Pizza Demon was still on the low ground with that Transcendence, and it did not reach him at all, so it just went wasted. That Transcendence did now, and Bi-Week find themselves in a deep hole.
And EnVision has plenty of time here where Bi-Week essentially has to start winning every fight, and the key part is going to be Aether with the blade into the next fight.
Aether, he will have that blade, but Jaru will have the EMP, so he can try and mitigate the impact of it. Leffa jumping in now. He's got the pulse bomb ready. Whole hog is used by EnVision, but it's Crimzo to take out Shearshoy.
Yeah, the whole hog pushes Shearshoy back, cleaves through both tanks. Waifu wasn't able to defensive matrix for long enough there. It's 4-1 in favor of EnVision early on this fight. They only lose Buds. Congratulations, you dove the Widow, but you lost your team as EnVision continues to roll forward.
EnVision, they've had full map control as Jaru's taking control over that mega health pack in the underpass. Hook comes in, Shearshoy low, he's at 80 HP. Defense Matrix keeps him alive for now. And so that might help Pizza Demon get closer towards his next Transcendence.
It's all about Aether here, right? If Bi-Week is going to have any hope of bringing this back with 4 minutes still left on the clock, this is where Aether must get a good blade, but he gets hacked. Can't go in immediately, already down to 8 HP. Do you blade at 80 HP? I guess in this situation you do. He goes to the back and gets gunned down by Orisa. Wasn't able to get the good initiation because of the hack, and EnVision still moving forward as Crimzo continues just zoning out on the point. Another brilliant whole hog, gonna lead the way. EnVision, it's a clean sweep, 4-0.
All right, so that's our 4-0 starting us out for the night here between EnVision and Bi-Week. And we saw kind of, again, issues with positioning in Bi-Week. They had problems positioning themselves. They had problems timing their ultimates to where they actually were helping one another instead of just like somebody ulting in the middle of a pool of death.
Also,
not
even just positioning, which, I mean, still very valid points, but mechanical skill. Yeah. They were out mechanically skilled in just about every position here. Pure and simple. I mean, you could be as tactically sound as you want, which realistically, I think they had plenty of issues, as you started mentioning there, but mechanically, they were simply getting outdone by EnVision.
Yeah, and in the past weeks, I mean, we also noticed that one of the shining lights for Bi-Week was that they also had Dogman on the Zenyatta who would open up with frags, even though I would say he died as often as like Pizza Demon did throughout this series. So, I mean, you take, you know, that, at least you have the extra fragging capability coming out from Dogman.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's more like at least you lived by the Dogman sometimes as you died by the Dogman. You just died by the Pizza Demon here, where he wasn't getting the pickoffs that we know Zenyatta is capable of, where, look, you know, no one's expected to come in here and sort of Jonak your way to victory, but it is such a boost to your team as a Zenyatta if you can get an early pickoff more frequently, which Crimson was doing fairly well for.
Oh, yeah, Crimson was, yeah. He had a standout performance so far. His Zenyatta was great, and of course we saw right there on his Junkertown, his Roadhog was just destroying Bi-Week.
We do have our Old Spice player of the match, and, you know, it is coming from EnVision, and there were some strong players on EnVision, but I think you guys will agree, Buds definitely stood out in this particular series.
I mean, he lived the Tracer dream in a competitive match, which is you had a Tracer and there was no security system. There was no checking of him whatsoever. Bud's got to play today.
The hidden passive of Tracer, right? Where no one's paying attention to you, and when that happens, you just destroy everyone. I mean, he had a great series on the Tracer. His Widowmaker was fantastic. Towards the end, though, Leffa was starting to come alive and taking those Widow battles, and it was going back and forth, but honestly, Leffa just didn't have the same kind of performance that we saw out of Sugar Free last week, and up against an opponent as tough as EnVision, that's a really hard way to start it all off.
You guys had briefly mentioned the Jaru Crimzo beauty that was going on between Sombra and Crimzo's Roadhog. Go into that a little bit more, because that was a really interesting pairing. I hadn't seen that.
Well, I mean, what can happen sometimes? I mean, you're riding the whole hog, and say a Diva tries to goes in and gets hacked, right? Then the whole hog comes out and it's like, I am Diva.
Yeah.
I now can't do anything but get knocked back and lose my mech. So
usually, yeah, Diva's able to eat, what, like 50, 60% of the ultimates, but right there, that's what you get to see with the hacks coming out. Ultimately, yeah, we got to see also, because of the hacks, I believe it was Shearshoy. Oh, no, I forget who it was. Waifu, possibly, on the opposing Roadhog wasn't able to do anything at all because, well, you had Jaru just controlling the flow of the fight the entire time.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will be seeing NRG going up against Optic, which is a match that I think all three of us are really looking forward to. This is going to be interesting to see. Stick around. We'll see you soon.